Welcome everyone to the July 19th, 2021 RDC meeting. Let's go ahead and go to roll call.
Cindy Canarney's here.
Deb Hutton here.
David Walter here.
Nick Kappas here. On to the city.
Jeff Underwood here.
Philippa Guthrie for Larry Allen.
John Zody's here.
Brent Pierce is here.
Okay, I think that's going to be everyone. All right. Oh, there we go. Christina, I think you're in here as well. You're on mute. So.
She texted me for another reason and said her microphone does not seem to be working.
Okay, well, we will acknowledge that you were a part of this meeting for the record. So moving on to the second item, we're going to do the reading of the minutes for July 6th, 2021. Any comments, edits to the July 6th meeting minutes? If not, I'd entertain a motion for approval.
This is David Walter. I'll move that we approve the July 6th meeting minutes.
Deb Hutton will second.
There is a motion and a second. Let's go to roll call.
Cindy Canarney, yes.
Deb Hutton, yes.
David Walter, yes.
Nick Kappas, yes. Minutes have been approved. On to item 3 of tonight's agenda, examination of claims, July 9th, 2021. Any comments on the claims? If not, I entertain a motion for approval.
This is David Walter. I'll make a motion. We approve the July 9th claims.
Deb Hutton will second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Cindy Canarney, yes.
Deb Hutton, yes.
David Walter, yes.
Nick Kappas, yes. All right. Claims have been passed unanimously. Then on to item number 4, examination of payroll registers for July 16th, 2021. Any comments from the commissioners? If not, I entertain a motion for approval.
Cindy Canarney moves approval of the claims register for July 16th, 2021.
Deb Hutton will second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. On the roll call.
Cindy Canarney, yes.
Deb Hutton, yes.
David Walter, yes.
Nick Kappas, yes. Payroll registers for July 16th have been approved unanimously. On to item number 5, report of officers and committees. Go ahead with Director Zodi.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everybody, members of the public and commission members. I will be talking a lot more here, I think, in the next agenda item on number 6 in the new business, but a couple things to report to you on the staff side. We have welcomed Gloria Cullum, who is our new Historic Preservation Program Manager. She started last Monday and is already into the thick of it with her first HPC meeting coming up on Thursday. We are currently doing interviews, or we'll start those tomorrow, for the neighborhood compliance officer vacancy that was left when Norm Mosher retired. So we should have news on that front by your next meeting, I would suspect. So that concludes my report for now, and I guess I'll be speaking a lot more to you under new business. Thanks.
Thank you. Legal report, if anything.
Nothing to report.
All right, thank you. Treasurer's report.
Nothing to report.
Great. Business development updates. Alex not on. We're going to go ahead and say none there. So that concludes item number 5, report of officers and committees. Just going to jump right into new business, which is the first item, public hearing, resolution 21-39, approval of COVID-19 review committee recommendations. Who wants to help lead that one off?
I can chime in there, Mr. President, if you or wanting staff to comment, or if you need action by the commission.
Well, if
I have a question.
yeah, go ahead.
So I'm a newbie, so I'm not allowed, I don't know if I'm allowed to ask a question or about one item or make a suggestion in the affidavit part or the whereas therefore part. Is that okay to do?
That's, I would, Ms. Guthrie, what is your recommendation?
Are you asking whether you can amend something?
Well, I'm looking at, I've read it through and after the whereases, and it says now therefore be it resolved by the RDC in number 2, it specifically mentions the commission approves the expenditure of an additional amount of $49,041.50. So an explicit amount.
Right.
Additional, but to me, it would make it stronger in number 1 to say that the RDC approves the review committee's recommendations to the total of $660,602.20. So that number 2 has a specific number in addition, and of course the total is the total amount that we have to spend or approve rather. So to me, it just strengthens it to have the exact number in number 1. Because you have an exact number in number 2 and talk about being an additional amount, but there's no an additional amount to what. So I don't know where that fits into what's allowable in the RDC process since I'm new. So I'm just making the comment that adding the specific amount strengthens it in my
So in
opinion.
other words, you would say something like, the commission approves the expenditure of an additional amount of $49,041.50 beyond the original or the total already awarded.
Well, no, just in number 1, mentioning that the RDC approves the COVID-19 Review Committee recommendations of the programs as described in the attached Exhibit A and refines that this allocation, $660,602.20, will best serve the local and national objectives of the program.
Sure, that's fine.
So an exact amount in number 1, an exact amount already in number 2, and that's the total. So
That's fine. You can make that amendment. Christina, do you have that?
I believe we would have to do a vote on that amendment,
Right.
correct?
So I will
Yes.
propose such an amendment to item number 1.
So just to be clear, you would like to add the language as to the exact dollar amount in item number 1, which is this $660,602.20.
Correct.
Correct.
This is David Walter. I would support that amendment. It makes sense because under the whereas, we list that amount, but then when we actually do the resolution, having that amount down here resolved, I think that just confirms that we've looked at attachment A and we're approving that expenditure of funds. So I second that amendment.
Okay. We have a motion for amendment of the language in resolution 21-39 and a second. Let's go ahead and go to roll call and get this amendment taken care of.
Cindy Canarney, yes.
Deb Hutton, yes.
David Walter, yes.
And Kappas, yes. So be it resolved that resolution 21-39 is amended to add in $660,602.20 into item number 1 under the therefore be it resolved by the Bloomington Redevelopment Commission that. Okay. Beyond that, are there any questions by the commission regarding resolution 21-39?
This is David Walter. I'd just like to know the makeup of the committee that made these recommendations.
Can we go ahead and speak, Mr. President?
I'm sorry.
Would you like me to go ahead and comment on that, Nick?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
David, this is John. So we had 3 people evaluating these applications was Doris Sims, Beverly Calendar Anderson from the Community and Family Resources Department, and Susan Sandberg from the City Council. So it was a smaller group this time due to the pandemic, and we can talk more about that if you'd like. But those are the three who evaluated. Also, staff was in the room to support and did our own evaluation, but that was not counted in the final decisions.
Okay, that answers my question.
How many, I do have a question, Director Zodi.
Mhm.
How many was this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9. These 9 organizations, were they the only ones that applied?
No, we received 14 applications totaling $1.3 million. And so we had about twice as much requested as we were able to award. One of those projects, I will tell you, was $500,000. So that's a big chunk of the additional request, but we approved 9 of those. And if I might, Mr. President, apart from our regular community development block grant dollars that the city gets, which I won't say has more relaxed guidelines, it's different guidelines, there's a whole nother set of restrictions and regulations on COVID specific community development block grant dollars. So on behalf of the organizations that were not funded, I will say that this money was a lot harder. And so I just want to say that they came in and had worthy projects, but sometimes it just doesn't fit with the COVID connection, which these had to. And so we were only able to fund 9 of them, as it turned out.
Okay.
And I had a couple other staff comments before you guys took action, if I may, whenever that's appropriate, Mr. President.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Well, I do want to just take you through the process a little bit since I'm new, and you all, if you were on the commission, went through this last summer. But this is a sort of special round of funding for community development block grant dollars that we announced in June. This follows around the round that was done last summer. So we had a total coming to the city in this money of $1,016,071. About the commission approved about $250,000 of that last summer to be awarded, which left us with about $709,000 to award this year. And when you take out the administrative piece that Deb mentioned in the resolution, you have a percentage that goes toward administration of the grant that left us with the $660,000. So the process tonight, what we're asking you to do is to approve this resolution. As you do that, I want to make sure that you're aware of what's next. This activity, according to HUD regulations, triggers what's called a substantial amendment to our consolidated plan. So every 4 years, the city has to submit a plan to HUD, which is called the consolidated plan. It's basically our goals and our plans of what we plan to do with our federal HUD money. And because we've had the CARES Act passed and have new funding that we were able to award. Last year, we had a substantial amendment we had to do to the plan because of the $250,000 that was awarded. So we need to do another one of those. And that will go for public comment starting on Thursday. That amendment is almost done. I'm sitting here looking at it, and we'll have it pretty well wrapped up tomorrow or Wednesday. That will go online for 5 days or go out for public comment for 5 days. And it will include these projects in there. And then when it comes back in 2 weeks at the August 2nd RDC meeting, we will ask you to approve the consolidated plan, which includes these, and we'll let you know if we received any public comment. So just in full disclosure, we have not gotten public comment as such on this list of projects yet. That will come in 2 weeks. So you're approving tonight. If you want to call it preliminarily or whatever action you want to take, I just want to make sure we're transparent and taking you through the process. And this is the initial recommendation from the committee that reviewed these. Our timeline is quite constricted. We have to get all of this into HUD by August 16th, and the public comment period is usually 30 days for this stuff. But when the pandemic hit, this COVID money, the public comment was reduced to 5 days. So this timeline is very quick. And so just wanted to let you know that all of that is coming down the pike. And when you come back on August 6th, we'll have probably another resolution or at least a piece of business for you to vote on that will sort of be the final approval of this. And wanted to just make sure I shared all those details with you before you took action on the resolution.
Well, I appreciate all those details, specifically the 5 days. So now that is something that in the packet says you can do this for 5 days.
Yeah.
Now, if we held off for maybe if we extended it another 5 days, what does that do for your staff? Is that, so we have 4 weeks before the 16th. Okay. So what does that do for those 2 weeks? Can you not simultaneously work while we, if it's open for, 10 work days, right? So 2 weeks. Can we, or it's open during then, and you get comments rolling in, can you simultaneously work on that? So, I mean, I just feel like 5 days is just not enough for public. Now, I'm not saying usually we get a lot of comments, but restricting it to 1/6 of what it once was, that's quite a long period of,
Sure.
or a short period,
Yeah, a couple things there. I would ask if it's amenable to the commission to stick with the 5 days, only because we have another report to HUD that is due at the end of August. And this amendment has to be approved before that report can be done correctly. So the sooner we get this into HUD, the better. If we took it down offline, if we did it for 5 days, staff can make any comments and get it all ready to go to submit immediately upon your vote on Monday the 2nd. And as we go through this process, if there are any warnings or errors that come up, you do what are called quality checks on these plans, and I can run a quality check right now and it'll tell me any flags or anything like that. So it is a kind of a work in progress, but the submitted version that we put online is what's available for public comment. So the 5 days, there's a real tight timeline there between the 2nd and the 16th, and we need to get that into HUD quite literally August 2nd or the morning of the 3rd, so that they can try to review that and get it back to us for submission. There's also a series of reviews that we need to get going on that we're pretty confident we can start in the days after public comment, with sort of environmental reviews and things like that have to be completed. Because this money is a use it or lose it. If you don't get it in by August 16th, you don't get it. And so I would ask that the commission be okay with the 5 day comment if you're okay. Also, I feel pretty comfortable with how we advertised this. We announced it at a press conference, and the application materials were sent out to more than 600 organizations around the city and Bloomington Volunteer Network and all that. So I feel like we had we had 2 technical assistance meetings for applications. So I feel pretty comfortable with the level of transparency that we had on the program. So I'm good with the 5 day public comment. It's in our citizen participation plan, which is sort of what governs the entire process we use here to let the public know about this. And that was online. That's been in writing for a year on the 5 days. And in terms of the pandemic, HUD allowed that to happen when there's a public emergency going on and all of that. And so as it relates to this money, we can do a 5 day public comment. So there you go.
Appreciate, that's a lot of detail. That is greatly appreciated. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Any other commissioners have any questions? Not seeing any. We're going to go ahead and go to the public for comment at this time. Not seeing anything in the chat. Back to the commission. Anything else? Any comments by the commissioners? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
This is David Walter. I'll make a motion to accept resolution 21-39.
This is Deb Hutton. I'll second.
Okay. We have a motion to approve resolution 21-39, and just as a reminder, as amended previously
Yes.
by Commissioner Hutton. So we will go ahead and go to roll call.
Cindy Canarney, yes.
Deb Hutton, yes.
David Walter, yes.
Nick Kappas, yes. All right, resolution 21-39 has been approved unanimously.
Thank you all. And thanks to our
Thank
committee.
you.
I want to thank the committee that really pulled it together quickly and got this done. So thank you all, and thanks to our committee of three.
That was a lot of great work. A lot of great work, in a very short amount of time. All right, so we're moving on to our last item on the new business, which is resolution 21-40, right of entry agreement to Bloomington Fire Department for the College Square parking lot. Who's up?
I guess that's normally legal.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, usually it is Larry. I didn't want to like completely just throw you in there, but
I'm the new Larry. Yeah, he's on vacation. So,
good for him.
so this is fairly simple. I think you all know probably that the fire department was inundated with water in its basement, so they had to be moved. And given that Bunger and Robertson had moved out and there was some empty space that was going to work for them, they have moved in there, but they needed a place to put one of their fire trucks. So as they are the city and you are the RDC, we need a right of entry for them to be able to enter with their truck and park it there. And you'll see that they agree to cover damage to the parking lot in the event there is any.
Okay, so are there any questions by the commission?
This is David Walter. Mentioned something here about a structure to be erected, temporary structure. Can you tell us what that's going to be?
Jeff, do you know what that is? I know that there was I had a brief conversation with Larry, but it was a while ago, right after the flood happened. I believe
Yeah, it's basic. It's just basically a fortified tent.
Yeah, they need to cover
Canopy.
some equipment, I think.
Yeah. So it won't be anything permanently attached to any buildings or anything like that. It's a temporary. This company specializes in these kinds of coverings. So
I think it's almost like a pop-up structure.
Well, then,
Now-
the fire department should be well aware of the Indiana Building Code that a temporary structure is 30 days. So anything beyond 30 days requires a variance for it to be up longer than that. And I mean, that's just a housekeeping thing. But, I don't have a problem with them putting the tent up, but then it could turn into something longer than 30 days, and they just need to be aware of that.
Yeah, I'll make a note of that. That's a good point.
yeah, and I know they're working with Homeland Security and the folks up at the state, so they're well aware of our situation.
Okay. Now, Jeff, I wouldn't be doing my job as president if I didn't ask this. No, we're not footing the bill for this temporary shelter. Is the RDC, or is this elsewhere?
No, this is all fire department, city of Bloomington.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, any additional costs, so like utilities, if you have to connect, bring them in phone lines, beef up the power, any of that would be borne by the city, not the RDC.
Okay, so we're expecting them to be there for a year and a half, essentially, unless it's earlier.
That's correct.
That's fine. Anything else from the commissioners? If not, open up to public comment. Not seeing anything. So back to the commission. I'll entertain a motion for resolution 21-40.
This is Cindy Canarney. I make a motion that we accept resolution 21-40.
This is David Walter. I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Let's go ahead and go to roll call.
Cindy Canarney, yes.
Deb Hutton, yes.
David Walter, yes.
And Nick Kappas, yes. Resolution 21-40 has been unanimously approved. So great. That is the end of new business for today's meeting. On to business general discussion. Anything for good of the order?
Now it's next month. We will gather again in City Hall. Is that correct?
That's a good question.
In August?
I believe so. I believe we will pick back up again in our first meeting in the beginning of the month. So that means, just for commission and anyone on here, it means that we have to have 3 people at City Hall, and we could have 2 online if they want to. But there are strict rules around how many, virtual meetings you can attend.
Just a pre-warning that the Canadian border was announced it was opening on August the 9th. So I'm a dual citizen with Canadian family, so I'll be going up there for a couple of weeks, probably like mid to late. So I suspect I'll miss the second meeting. So just forewarning that you'll be down one for
Okay,
one meeting.
great. Well, duly noted. And we had 3 for a while. RDC had 3 for a while. So, I think we'll have 4. So it'll be good. But thank you for letting us know. I did hear about that border opening up. So that was good. Anything else? Okay, well, I think that's it for our item number, will that be 7? So let's go to adjournment. I entertain a motion for adjournment.
Do we have to have the numbers correct? Because the actual agenda goes from 7 to 9.
I know, I saw that. I was like, oh no, there's no 8. Oh man, so motion for adjournment. Yep, we got a motion.
I'll second. This is David Walter. I'll second that.
We have a motion adjournment. We'll just go voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? None? All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
See you next month.
Safe.
See you next month.